Discipline is the price of greatness. You will never rise higher than the standards you accept for yourself. And the most powerful standard a human being can choose is discipline, not the kind that punishes, the kind that frees. Because in a world addicted to shortcuts, seduced by instant gratification, and drowned in distraction, discipline is not just a virtue, it's rebellion. It's war against mediocrity. It is the quiet, consistent force that carves legends out of ordinary men and women. Look around you. Everyone wants success. Everyone wants freedom, wealth, and fulfillment. But most of them want it without price, without process, without persistence. They forget what every great titan in history understood, that success is never owned, only rented, and rent is due. Every single day. Thomas Edison failed over 1,000 times trying to invent the light bulb. They laughed, they doubted, but they didn't understand what fueled him. It wasn't motivation, it wasn't luck. It was something far more powerful, an unshakable discipline to keep showing up when others quit, to do the work when no one is watching, to keep striking the iron until the fire obeys. Discipline is not glamorous. It is not exciting. It is early mornings, late nights, uncomfortable truths, and brutal honesty with yourself. It's doing what needs to be done even when your feelings scream otherwise. It's saying no to your comfort so you can say yes to your calling. You think motivation will save you. Let me be clear. Motivation is a spark, but discipline is the furnace. Motivation is fleeting, but discipline endures. It doesn't care if you're tired. It doesn't wait for inspiration. It's the voice inside you that says, get up anyway. Abraham Lincoln knew discipline. He lost elections. He faced depression. He buried children. But he kept walking, kept working, kept believing in something greater than the pain. And because he refused to fold, he shaped the soul of a nation. Do you understand what that means? It means you don't need to feel ready. You don't need perfect conditions. You need resolve. You need a decision so strong, so rooted in who you are becoming, that nothing, no fear, no doubt, no failure can uproot it. Discipline is that decision in action. It is the sculptor of success, the architect of identity, the bridge between dreams and results. Without it, vision is a fantasy. Talent is wasted, and time becomes your enemy. You say you want change. You say you want greatness. But what are you doing about it daily? Because discipline is not what you do once. It's what you do every single day when the cameras are off, the lights are out, and nobody's clapping. It's the reps when no one's counting, the hours when no one sees, the effort when it feels like nothing is working. But here's the truth. No one wants to say most people will never experience true freedom because they're slaves to comfort. They trade long-term greatness for short-term ease. They scroll when they should study. They quit when they should rise. They wait when they should move. And slowly, silently, they drift, not because they lacked ambition, but because they lacked discipline. Don't be most people. Choose to become something different. Choose the pain of progress over the pleasure of procrastination. Choose the path that few will take because you know where it leads. Look at the greats Carnegie, Ford, Rockefeller. They weren't born with superpowers. They were born with choices, and they made the hard ones, again and again. Ford kept building even when he was bankrupt. Carnegie kept learning even when he was poor. These men were not driven by luck. They were driven by a code, a relentless discipline that said, I will not stop. Not now. Not ever. And that, my friend, is the difference. Not talent, not IQ, not charisma. Discipline. Because in the end, your success is not determined by how much you start. It is determined by how much you continue. And continuing, especially when it's hard, is discipline in motion. So ask yourself, who are you becoming in the dark when no one is watching? When the world offers every excuse to back down, will you stay committed? Will you keep your promises to yourself? Because nothing will erode your confidence faster than breaking your word to the mirror. And nothing will build your power like keeping it. Discipline is integrity in action. It is self-respect forged into behavior. It is saying, I am not at the mercy of circumstance. I am not a slave to emotion. I am the master of me. You will not rise when it's easy. You will rise when it's brutal, when it hurts, when it tests you. That's when it counts. And if you keep showing up, you will not be denied. Not because it's guaranteed, but because you refuse to leave empty-handed. Let the world doubt you. Let the obstacles rise. Let the pain scream. Let the fear come. But don't let anything stop you from moving. Because that movement, that small, steady, disciplined action, is what breaks the chains of average. It's what turns a spark into a fire. And that fire, if you protect it with relentless, unwavering discipline, will consume your limits, light your path, and burn your excuses to the ground. You don't need motivation. You need discipline. You want to change your life? Then command your days before they command you. Stop negotiating with your goals. Stop dancing with distraction. Stop letting comfort write your future. You don't need more time. You don't need more talent. You need more discipline. Discipline to rise when it's cold, to push when it's hard to focus, when the world pulls you in every direction. Because let me tell you something that the weak will never understand. The cost of discipline is measured in effort, but the cost of regret, that's paid in years. Years of dreams unfulfilled, of potential buried under excuses, of nights staring at the ceiling wondering what could have been if you had just stuck with it. Most people give up not because they're incapable, but because they are undisciplined. They start fast, then fall apart when the passion fades. They set goals but abandon them at the first sign of resistance. They worship comfort and wonder why greatness never answers their prayers. But not you, because you're done letting circumstances shape you. You're done quitting on yourself. You're done chasing the feeling of motivation like a beggar waiting for scraps. You've chosen something higher, something harder, something infinitely more powerful. You've chosen discipline, and that means you are unstoppable. Think about that word for a moment. Unstoppable. It's not just a description, it's a declaration, a standard, a way of life. When you live with discipline, you don't wait for the right mood, you move anyway. You don't chase convenience, you choose consistency. You don't need applause, you own your mission. And in a world full of noise, you become the storm that cannot be silenced. Look at Michael Jordan. Obsessed, disciplined. He didn't rise to greatness because he made every shot. He rose because he never stopped shooting. He practiced longer, harder, sharper. While others partied, he prepared. While others slept, he trained. While others hoped, he executed. That's what discipline does. It separates the hopers from the doers. Walt Disney was told he lacked imagination. Edison was told he was slow. Oprah was told she was unfit for television. They all heard no, but their discipline answered, watch me. They built empires from failure. Not because failure didn't knock, but because discipline kept the door shut. And you see, yes, you have that same power. You don't need a perfect background. You don't need anyone's permission. You don't need the stars to align. You need to lock in, to show up every day with unwavering focus, to stop being a prisoner to your emotions, to choose what you want most over what you want now. Because here's the truth that no one wants to accept: discipline is rarely fun. But it is always freedom. Freedom from regret. Freedom from weakness. Freedom from the mediocre life that comes from doing just enough to survive, but never enough to thrive. You don't build a champion's body by working out once. You don't build a powerful mind by reading a single book. And you damn sure don't build a legacy by chasing every shiny distraction that passes your screen. You build it brick by brick, early morning by early morning, setback by comeback, sacrifice by sacrifice. That's what it takes. And the ones who embrace that, not fear it, not run from it, but embrace it, those are the ones who rise. The ones whose names echo through history. Because every breakthrough you want is on the other side of doing what's difficult, not once, but relentlessly. It's getting back up when life levels you. It's recommitting when you've failed again and again. It's building the habit of following through until following through is simply who you are. Discipline is identity. It's the quiet power that rewires your very nature. When you act with discipline, you tell your subconscious, this is what we do now. We don't wait, we don't negotiate, we execute. And the beautiful thing is, the more you do it, the stronger it gets. It starts with 5 minutes of focus, then 20, then an hour, then a lifestyle. Soon the old habits can't breathe in your presence. The old excuses can't stand the fire you carry. The old fears wither under your new level of intensity. And the world starts to respond differently to you. Doors open. Momentum builds. Results compound. Not because of some miracle, but because you earned it. You earned the body. You earned the clarity. You earned the respect first from yourself and then from the world. And that is a kind of power no one can give you and no one can take away. That is the power of relentless discipline. It is not something you try. It is something you become. And once you do, everything changes. Your days become weapons. Your time becomes sacred. Your mind becomes sharp. And your vision becomes reality. Because you're no longer playing to feel good. You're playing to win. You're not waiting to be rescued. You've become your own hero. So if you've been drifting, if you've been slacking, if you've been stuck in that cycle of starting and stopping and starting again, this is your line in the sand. Make the decision that from this moment forward you will be disciplined, relentlessly, unapologetically, unbreakably. Not because it's easy, but because you finally realized it's the only way. Clarity follows commitment, not the other way around. Clarity does not come through contemplation. It is earned through action, disciplined action. Most people wait for a sign, a flash of certainty. They sit in silence, hoping the fog will lift and the path will appear. But greatness doesn't come to those who wait. It comes to those who walk through the fog anyway. Discipline gives you clarity, not the other way around. You move first, even without answers. And the act of moving creates vision. The act of committing creates understanding. When you wake up early, eat with intention, train, your mind execute your priorities, and repeat. Something miraculous happens. You stop asking, what am I supposed to do, and start declaring, this is who I am. Discipline doesn't just sharpen your focus, it eliminates the irrelevant. It burns away the noise, the distractions, the petty anxieties that used to control you. You no longer chase 50 things at once. You lock in on one. And when your energy is no longer scattered, your power becomes undeniable. You've seen what happens when someone is locked in, truly locked in. The aura changes. The presence is different. They move with direction. They speak with purpose. They execute with speed. That doesn't come from talent. That comes from discipline. A man or woman with relentless discipline is a storm. Not loud, not chaotic, but precise, focused, untouchable. And when purpose enters the picture, that storm becomes a force of destiny. Because purpose is not found in the comfort zone. You do not stumble upon meaning while scrolling, binge-watching, or waiting for motivation. Purpose is discovered in the doing. You must work your way into it. Discipline is what takes you from wandering to walking, from hoping to building, from wishing to willing. You think Martin Luther King had an easy road to purpose? You think he woke up one day with a microphone and a crowd and a dream? No, he built it. In the trenches, in the struggle, in the face of hatred and fear and fatigue. And he kept showing up. Because when your life is built on purpose, discipline is no longer a chore. It becomes sacred. You train, not because you have to, but because you refuse to waste the gift. You focus, not because you fear failure, but because you revere the mission. You act, not because someone told you to, but because your soul demands it. This is what separates the disciplined from the drifting, the committed from the curious, the legendary from the forgotten. It's not the size of their dreams, it's the strength of their daily execution. Every day is a vote for the person you are becoming. Every choice a brick laid in the foundation of your identity. Discipline is how you cast those votes. Every time you follow through when it's hard, you vote for strength. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you vote for integrity. Every time you resist the easy path and take the hard one, you vote for greatness. And votes become character. Character becomes destiny. But the opposite is just as true. Skip the workout, you vote for weakness. Hit snooze again, you vote for mediocrity. Break your word, you vote for self-doubt. And when enough of those votes pile up, you begin to wonder why your life feels stuck, why your confidence erodes, why your fire goes dim. It's not the universe, it's not bad luck. It's you forgetting your power. But now you remember. Because the moment you take your discipline seriously, everything else aligns. Confidence returns. Clarity sharpens. Action flows. You stop making excuses and start making moves. And let me be clear, there is nothing more dangerous than a person who has married purpose to discipline. That's when the world bends. That's when momentum becomes inevitable. And that's when your former limits become laughable. Because the person who lives with relentless discipline is no longer a participant in life. They are the author. They write their own rules, build their own pace, chase their own standard, and they do not wait for permission. Because when you choose discipline, you give yourself the only permission that matters, the permission to rise. Master yourself or be ruled by everything else. There will be days when everything pushes back, when nothing makes sense, when progress feels invisible, when the world spits in your face and dares you to quit. That's where most people stop. That's where most people say, it's too hard, and walk away. But you don't stop. You don't back down. You rise. Because you understand something the undisciplined never will. Obstacles are not signs to retreat. They are signals to level up. Pain is not your enemy. It's your call to power. Every time you get hit and keep moving, you forge resilience. Every time you're knocked off course and find your way back, you build mental armor. And every time you stare down fear, fatigue, failure, and still take the next step, you send a message to the world and to yourself. I am not done. I'm just getting started. Adaptability becomes your weapon. Not because things get easier, but because you get stronger. Discipline is what gives you that strength. It's what turns breakdowns into breakthroughs, confusion into clarity, and setbacks into fuel. And when you've been tested, truly tested, and still choose discipline, that's when something shifts inside you. You no longer need to convince yourself. You just know. You know that when life gets chaotic, you remain steady. When emotions rage, you remain centered. When everything falls apart, you remain dangerous. Because discipline has made you durable, reliable, unshakable. And that kind of man, that kind of woman, cannot be bought broken or buried. Look around. The world is starving for leaders, for doers, for people who don't just talk about greatness but live it every single day. Discipline is what qualifies you for that mission. Not your background, not your credentials, not your popularity. Your discipline. And if you stay true to it, your life will become the proof. Proof that consistency matters, that grit wins, that purpose is more powerful than pain. And when others wonder how you did it, how you stayed so focused, how you kept going through the storm, how you turned nothing into something you won't need to brag, you won't need to shout. You'll just smile, because you'll know the truth. You earned it. You earned the body. You earned the business. You earned the respect. You earned the life. Not with hype, not with luck, but with discipline. Every morning you woke up early. Every night you stayed in when others partied. Every choice, every rep, every moment of resistance, you owned it. And in doing so, you discovered the greatest power a human can possess, the power to master yourself. Because when you master yourself, nothing, no failure, no fear, no force can master you. That's the legacy of discipline. It doesn't just change your results, it changes your identity. You stop being someone who tries and become someone who does. You stop seeking comfort and become addicted to progress. You stop wondering who you are and become the architect of who you choose to be. So remember this when the path is hard, when the fire burns, when the doubt screams. You do not need easier, you need discipline. And if you hold on to it fiercely, relentlessly, it will take you further than talent ever could. It will carry you through storms that would destroy other men. It will elevate you in silence and reveal you in power. So choose the grind, choose the standard, choose the pain of progress. And never forget, the price of discipline is small. The price of regret is everything. Train your mind, sharpen your will, honor your word, and step into the life that only relentless discipline can build. Because the future does not belong to the motivated. It belongs to the disciplined. And the world is waiting for the disciplined version of you.